All right. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Serious Angler podcast, powered by our friends over at X2 Power Batteries. And we are with the captain, who may or may not be able to speak today, but we're going to find out. And as always, I'm your host, Bailey Egbert. Andy.
It's always something.
Oh my God. It's straight up emphysema, Andy, tonight, man. It's
yeah, so my voice is gone. As you can hear, I went to the Bills game Sunday night against the Chiefs, and as loud as the stadium's ever been. And yes, I was screaming like a little kid because I had Taylor Swift and Jason Kelsey like 5 rows behind me. And it was a great time. My voice is gonna go in and out as we're doing this, but I'm here. I feel fine. I've just smoked way too many cigarettes up into my 70s, and now here we are.
That's awesome. The dedication, buddy. We respect it.
Yeah.
But there's definitely
I
going to be.
I got you.
You already know I'm clipping this and making something up.
Go ahead. It's not the first time that I've had no voice. It's not the last.
Have you seen that clip on social of the people making fun of Miley Cyrus? It sounded like she has the same voice. It's like something about the journey, whatever. Her sounding like she has emphysema and people making fun of it. That's what I'm pairing with.
That's fine. Go right ahead. I can take it. Go right ahead. I'm good with it. So,
well, small story for the folks, being that you were at that game, is Andy here had the chance to be on the NFL page as Jason Kelsey. I'm sure you've seen, if you have any lick of social media, is shirtless screaming out of the suite at the Bills Stadium, and everyone's looking back, either taking pictures or something. And there's one jabroni with his head in his phone,
because
looking down
that the Chiefs scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Andy could have been on the NFL page, but instead he was buried in his phone.
This is how close I was to Jason Kelsey.
He was pretty damn close.
There he is, naked, 5 rows away. And then I got another one here for all the fangirls out there. There's T Swift. Literally 15 feet away. Yeah, it was
that'll it's funny because that will come full circle for our second half of the show later today, where we got a wild show. We got a wild show for today. We have Mr. Keith Tuma and Brendan Brown from Brown Bait Co. joining us later on the show. But before that, we have our man, Mr. Matty Wong, joining us here. We're going to talk about a few things, but especially you guys have heard us talk about the whole Japanese fishing culture on this show and our admiration for it. And Matty's going to talk about his trip out to Japan, all about that, talk about culture a little bit, maybe some goodies he got over there, and talk about the upcoming Elite Series season. But nonetheless, it's going to be a fun show. But instead of making fun of Andy anymore, we do have some cool, which we'll do throughout the show. I promise.
There's a great comment here that I sound like Christian Bale's Batman, and like there's some great quotes from that movie. So like,
dude, speaking of that, grimy fishing. Thank you for reminding me of this. I found one of my favorite new pages to follow on social media, and it's this dude that's a college student that goes to class in a full like badass Batman getup and speaks like Batman the whole time. Dude, I'll have to send you it. It is hilarious.
I will die.
It is awesome. Like,
you remember like the original Bat Dad that would like just wear a Batman mask?
It's like that, dude. It's like that. It's exactly like that.
You want to know the difference between me and you? I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Dude, it's honestly spot on right now. It's so good. Oh, God. Well,
that's like the best quote from that movie. 100%.
Yeah, I'm going to get distracted so fast with that tonight. But nonetheless, feel free to rip Andy in the comments here. Have some fun with it. He knows we do it out of love. But apologies about the Bills, man. Nonetheless, we get to talk Bassin tonight. And real fast, before we get Mr. Matty Wong on here, is proud to announce that Rec Lending has signed on again for the 2024 season. And we're going to be a lot tied in further with them over at Rec Lending. You guys saw we did a pretty big giveaway with them that ended early January, where they were handing out over $10,000 in cash and prizes. But if you guys want to, obviously, if you're looking for boat loans, advice, things like that, they are the people to go to. We have some pretty cool stuff coming up with them this year. So pretty pumped to announce that. And we have some more pretty cool stuff that we'll talk about later in the show. We don't need to do it all right at this moment. But quick thing is fantasy fishing season's coming up, Elite Series season. A link is down below in the show notes, whether you're watching or listening. If you guys want to go join the Serious Angler Fantasy Fishing Group, it's always been fun in recent years. We've always had about a couple thousand people in that group. It's been super fun. So come to compete. We'll have prizes to give away to the winners. And we have, of course, our fantasy fishing live shows already prepared and ready to rock for upcoming shows, for upcoming events. But Andy, I think without further ado here, let's get on our guest for today, Mr. Matty Wong. What's going on?
We can let him talk for a little bit.
How's it going?
I don't know if we're going to be able to get through this.
I need to get this off my chest right now. You sound like Mort from Family Guy.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Andy, you swear it's oh my god, it's so good.
I had to go
awesome.
there.
That was perfect.
But didn't he have like a whistle?
Yeah. Oh no, that's the old guy. That's like it's like the pedo old like guy. That's like wait for Chris,
Grandpa.
For my good news.
Yeah, the whistle at the end of every word.
Just wait for the paper boys. What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on. Man. Yeah.
What's up, dude? So we have a bunch to unpack here with you. Yeah. Obviously, your big trip to Japan, that was super cool to follow along with. People should definitely watch the videos you put out if they haven't already. But before we do, something I learned about you literally offline 30 minutes ago that I don't know how I didn't know is that you play hockey, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played it in a little bit. I actually got to play over the right before the New Year with my brother in Washington. Got to jump on some little pickup game, and yeah, it was super fun. The mitts are a little dry, and so the dangle wasn't quite there, and the cardio was definitely not up. But
all crusty.
I think so. Some later candy quotes were chirped, and there's definitely a couple of beers drank, so it was a good time.
Dude, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, I love the sport of hockey. It's incredible. I think it's one of the most athletically demanding sports out there over football. Sorry, Andy.
No, it's all good. I love hockey too. It's one of the few sports you can play on a broken leg and still skate. So props to Sid the Kid.
Yeah, Sid the Kid. That guy's insane.
It's I could go on a whole tangent, but I'll restrain myself because I just I tell people on here, like, I have fishing, as the passion, and hockey is like a very close number two. But obviously people know your story. We've had you on the show. You've been on numerous shows, obviously coming from Hawaii and all that. But where the heck did hockey fall in down this timeline? Like, where did that start?
What was it? 1994, 96? When did the Mighty Ducks come out?
The movie or the team?
The movie.
The movie, I want to say that was
94.
I thought it was 92.
You guys are in front of two computers. You guys can look it up.
90. We're trying to test our knowledge here.
So
what was it?
It was. I think just growing up and watching the Mighty Ducks, and just being fascinated by ice. But I mean, the thing is, in Hawaii, as you guys can probably assume that the ice rinks weren't that great. Actually, a matter of fact, we only had one ice rink. It was called the Ice Palace, and it was like a steady 55 degrees.
It was like skating on water all the time.
Yeah, it was bad. Like, you could see the pipes. Like, it was a mess. Mm-hmm. But I played inline hockey through middle school and a little bit in the high school, and I actually traveled on a select team and had a fun thing with that.
For roller or for ice?
For roller.
That's sick, dude.
Yeah.
So you were living when they was it Mighty Ducks 2 where they found the kids that were playing.
That's exactly what it was, and I was just like, "Oh my god, that could be me!
That's awesome,
that could be me!"
You were the knuckle puck kid.
I was the knuckle puck kid. It was so funny because we would put my brother in goal, and he'd be like, he was like oversized goalie pads with like these just ridiculous rollerblades on. And we would always be like, "Clear the goalie," and he'd be like, "Don't clear the goalie." But it was just
That's awesome.
just good times, just growing up, pre cell phone days.
Yeah.
And then when I moved out to California, I got to play ice hockey, and yeah, I love the sport. It's a ton of fun.
Not to keep the whole hockey conversation going, even though I could talk about this for hours.
Oh, we could probably do an entire show just on hockey.
We should just get like a hockey fishing panel. The Johnston brothers, you like. There's a few. Josh Douglas.
I think Zaldane skates too.
Yeah, Panger. Like there's a whole crew on the fishing side, and obviously it's a big crossover up north. But
for sure, I'm probably a better compared to the Johnstons, man. Those guys probably just like injected hockey at conception.
It's just it's like it pumped it into their veins, like hourly, you know. It's like once you cross a certain threshold in
it's just
Canada,
like,
that's all they know.
Their blood's like thick as maple syrup, and all they just want to do is just talk hockey and quote later Kenny.
See, I picture the Johnston brothers just being like straight out of Slapshot. Like, yeah, that's what that reminds me of.
Pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But have you ever been able to play like pond hockey, anything like that yet?
So that's I swear to God, I'm not making this up. That's literally one of my dreams. Like one of my bucket list things while I'm living on this earth. I want to be able to skate over a like a natural body of water, whether it's like a frozen river or a lake or something, and then to play pond hockey. Because I just feel like that would just combine two of my most favorite things in the world: fishing in the water and hockey.
Yeah, pond hockey.
Pond hockey.
So
even though maybe we'll have like a couple tip ups going, and like
well,
even though
you have to.
That's a legit thing. Like people use it. Yeah, they use skates to get faster because you have better traction for the most part too.
Yeah, I mean,
to get from like hole to hole.
That's brilliant. I'd be so down for that, but it's like every single place. It's like a relay race. You got to like take a shot or like chug a beer.
Yeah.
No, I'm playing. No, I'm not playing. That'd be fun.
It'd be fun as hell. Yeah, let's do that. So, dude, to detract here from hockey, we're definitely going to be talking about this more. But, dude, your trip to Japan. When did the plans start to go over there, and how long did you go?
Well, it kind of came out of nowhere. My brother was, it was kind of like an unfortunate situation that turned into a cool opportunity for his family and also for me. But his wife's father, so his father-in-law, passed during COVID, and they haven't had a chance to have a funeral. So they were going back to go and go back to with the family there. My brother has 2 sons now. And so it was just a perfect opportunity for me to go and say what's up, to see my brother and go and be uncle for a little bit. So it was a perfect time to do that. And then Taku, Kenta, and Daisuke, a bunch of the guys were already back in Japan. So it was cool to be able to meet up with everyone there. So it worked out perfectly, and yeah, it was definitely an adventure. Definitely adventure. It was my first time going. It was like kind of solo in a way. I mean, obviously I went there solo, but just after meeting up with my brother and then going with the rest of the guys and just kind of floating around, it was it put a lot of my Japanese skills to test. My listening comprehension has gotten exponentially better, and just learning how to say just certain more casual terms that they would use versus what you're taught in school when you're trying to learn a language,
right?
Which is typically not
like the
like if like the way that we speak to each other versus if you're talking to some
formal
your professor or a elderly nobleman.
Yeah, it's relaxed, like not a formal conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's cool.
But no, it was great, man. Ate a bunch of good food. Went to too many theme parks. Too much for my liking.
Theme parks?
But, yeah, went to Disney. Was it Disneyland? Tokyo Disneyland. Went to Universal World. and then did the Osaka aquarium, which was actually pretty cool.
That actually sounds pretty sick. The
Yeah,
aquarium.
the aquariums. They had this one exhibit where they had 2 whale sharks inside this
Holy
massive aquarium.
How?
Don't put it past the Japanese, bro. Don't ask me that question. Ask them.
That's fair.
But it was massive. It was so cool. It was like this giant building that was built around this massive aquarium, and every single floor that you went up, there were certain sections of the tank that you could see, and then on the outer perimeter of the tank, there was also like a dolphin exhibit, and then also penguins and seals and whatever. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to see. Just
Yeah.
for the record, this is not my my setup, but this is like my my fake man cave. Like, this is my buddy Alex's stuff. But it's funny because this is all the stuff that I enjoy. Like, I enjoy archery. I enjoy hockey. There's a couple shotguns here. We went duck hunting the other day. But yeah, I wish I could take claim for this. I don't really have a home base right now. So I
That's
get
awesome,
to borrow
though.
my friend's stuff though. Eventually.
Yeah.
That's the bucket list.
Well, dude, speaking of bow hunting, you got into that too this offseason. I saw your post that
Yeah.
dude, so that's something. Are you hooked now or what?
I am. I really wish I could have a bow in the truck with me just to like do some reps, like to clear the head. It's pretty it's definitely centering when you get into like a shooting mode. It has like kind of a similar effect that fishing does, but in a different way. It's neat. It's really cool, and to be able to like harvest meat that's free ranged and delicious. Like, I was able to bring goat and pig to some of my friends and family and cook for them, so that was really special. And yeah,
that's one of the
Good
best parts
times.
about it, dude. Is like doing it all yourself.
Oh
That's
yeah,
awesome.
it's crazy rewarding. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I started fishing, or I don't know, I was 2. I didn't have no clue why I wanted to fish, except for it was fun. But it was one of the reasons why I continued on doing it into my like teen years, was because the joy of bringing fish to people that can't go out and catch them themselves is something that's really rewarding.
That's awesome, man.
Oh, well, Sam! Oh boy, you're in it. You're in it for a treat, my friend. We got a few things to talk about.
Yeah. So for folks listening that might not be tuning in live here, Sam Axe is asking, did you do any fishing or tackle browsing in Japan? Followed by another comment here from Brad that had asked, how much tackle did you bring home? So I'll let you take it from here.
And what is the legal limit of tackle that you can bring into the States before you have to pay dues or taxes or whatever the term is?
I think it's $2,000. It might be less. I think it's around $2,000. It could be 800, so don't quote me on it. But also, right now the yen is pretty weak to the dollar. It's about 135. I don't know if it's gone up at all, but 135 yen to the dollar. So it was like 30% off. I probably spent too much, but one of my mechanics from SDG Marine actually brought back an entire suitcase for me.
Oh my God.
So I was able to like sneak out with the stuff that I had in my bag, and it was no problem. And then he was able to take stuff. So I might have had a mule help me with this. So I don't know how much you can, as one person, legally take out, but definitely did a lot of tackle shopping there. The first week and a half was just mainly being with the family. And then after that, we just, I went on an absolute rampage on trying to find as many tackle shops as I could, and also try to like locate some pretty cool niche baits that I've never seen, or was just interesting to see.
What was the success rate of finding interesting JDM baits that
it's surprisingly, once you get the run of the mill things that you see in most tackle shops, it's kind of like when you're here in the US, right? You're always going to find your Strike Kings. You're always going to find your Yamamoto worms. You're always going to find your Zoom stuff. You're always going to find your KVD stuff. When you go there, it's like you're always going to find your depth stuff. Like you're always going to find certain other like Raid and Bass Brigade and a few others. OSP is really big there. All the JDM specifics. Nori's has a ton of baits there, and then Mega Bass. But yeah, it was, I would say, one in every every shot would blow your mind, especially when it comes to individual techniques and specific techniques. So for me, being a saltwater fisherman as well, I have a lot of interest in subtle saltwater techniques and also tackle. So I got a bunch of organization stuff that would literally use like a cardboard like cutout to wrap a leader, and now they have these like perfectly like plano box things that are meant to wrap leaders, and it was pretty cool to see their organization stuff. And then their selection of soft plastics would absolutely blow your mind. I got like a few things that I was going to show you guys, but it's pretty funny. This is the first time I'm working on this. This is the dice.
Oh, gosh.
Everyone's seen
Here
this
we go.
bait.
Yeah.
But this is like the jam on Lake Biwa. Like everyone and their mom is throwing dice in like this color too. And so
that total random question on that dice, because like I don't know, Andy, if we've ever talked about it on the show. Maybe jokingly about Koya on fantasy fishing, but like, is that something you're going super light line with? Like when you are?
Yeah, it's like 6 pound test, 5 pound test, drop shot, and then it falls down, and then they just shake the slack, and everything's just going like that.
Yeah. Michael Bradley's asking, you are still with Mega Bass, correct?
I'm still with Mega Bass.
There you go. I was waiting for like some Superman moment here. Yeah.
Still with Mega Bass. This is actually really cool. This leads me to my next little show and tell lure that I'll bring to the stage.
Type R's.
Andy's
this is one that I saw after spending I don't know, I spent probably like three or $4 grand there, and this was one when I already told myself like, okay, you're done. And then my buddies walked me into this tackle shop, and I saw these on the wall. I was like, shoot. Now I don't want to buy Mega Bass stuff because I already get it. I'm like, but I can't get this here. So
the Type R is more of like a reeling style jerkbait, but can still dart, right? Like that.
Exactly.
It's the racing version, so it's more crank down.
It's a crank down, and because I used to like speed crank a +2, and I've gotten some really good bites doing that, just speed cranking it, not jerking it. So this is kind of cool. And then also because that's the thing, the bigger the bill, the less erraticness you're gonna have. Obviously, when you have a sweet spot of like the +1, that's where you're gonna have like that really wide erratic motion. So this thing, it's not gonna be crazy erratic, but I think when you have fish that are not wanting to go too far, and they can just make subtle little 1/2 foot to 1 foot darts versus like a 3 foot, 4 foot swing, it has its place. But
intriguing as hell. And yeah, I think you were saying you can't get those in the States right now, right?
No, you can't get the +3.
God damn. What are you?
Sorry, not sorry.
What would you use setup wise for a +3? Like
for that, I would probably. I mean, the thing. So there's the 110 stick, or the jerkbait special. There's a 110 stick, and I think there's one more Mega Bass rod. The one that's a little bit more stout, it's a little bit longer. That's the one that I would use on that. That's a rod that I really like, even on my larger topwater baits. I'm talking like your Mega Dog X's, but I'm talking like your 4 and 5 inch topwater style baits. It's just a little bit of a faster taper rod. It's not as slow, so you can get it down and it'd be all right. But yeah, probably one of those, and then fish it on light line and just hopefully not get it hung up on a tree 20 feet.
Andy, are you trying to surf the internet for one?
I mean, you can find them. That's the thing. You can get them on like eBay and stuff like that. And then
eBay, Japan, you can import them. It's just a pain.
Yeah, it's just a pain. It comes out to I think like $50 a bait after everything's said and done. But
I've known about them for like 3 or 4 years.
Oh yeah, no, it's
God dang.
So 21. So 2000. So it'd be 2178 yen. which would equate to $14.
That what you just said was $14.
Yeah. Well, no, because it's 2,000. It's 2,178 yen. And so the conversion.
Yeah, you say all that and you're like, yep, $14.
That's $14. Come on down. Get yourself a.
Yeah, that's cool.
This was also pretty neat. I told Taku that I wouldn't really put that out there too much, but it's not like Kyoyo would probably be more pissed off. But this was a deal that he was using up on St. Lawrence. So this was kind of cool.
Is that like the Nightcrawler one?
Yeah, they're pretty unique. They have like this. They already have a bend in it, and then again, you just fish it on a super light finesse, like 4-pound test and a mosquito hook.
That's
but
wild.
All the Japan smallmouth bass are a lot smaller than the ones that we have here, so they can get away with a lot more finesse techniques. I bought a bunch for Hawaii as well to fish in the streams and whatnot. You can just pitch it into small little pockets and shake it and get bit. But
that's pretty sweet, dude.
This is kind of neat. My buddy I also got my friends just kind of gave me some stuff there too. They're like, "Oh, try this, try this." This is a bait called Fat Lab.
Fat Lab.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Like, it's a pretty sweet color to it. Removable bill.
I thought you just went and broke that off.
It's like, yeah, you don't need this thing. But yeah, it's kind of neat. It's kind of like similar to like a DRT, but not really. The tail's pretty unique. But yeah, segmented bait that I could take the lip off. I mean, this would be kind of a cool bait, I think, in the summertime. You know, when it heats up a bit.
I bet a spot would just absolutely unload on that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's something that I'm like, I'll be like, nobody else has this. When we go down to like Smith and Wheeler and whatnot. So
here's the question too: is did you buy more than one of each of these things? Because us as
like that's the thing. I'll say hasta la bye bye, and then I just have a broken heart and try to figure out how to get those fish again.
Just buy a ticket back to Japan.
Yeah, I mean, it's another great excuse just to go back there again. I swear, anyone who's like hasn't been there nowadays, it is so like the first time I went to Japan, it was really short. It was quick. It was for a layover on the way to Indonesia. I went on a surf trip to Bali, and it was Google Maps wasn't like really doing the automatic routing stuff yet. It was still. You still had to go to the station and get a paper map and try to figure things out, and then not too many English stuff. Now it's like you could just all on your phone get around fairly easy, learn a few simple things, and basically be fine. So I don't know. It's always good to get out of the country, expands your mind, learn a bunch.
Question for you on like kind of the culture of anglers over there. You were mentioning earlier the lingo, like kind of like a more relaxed saying things they have, and obviously there's so many dang things we have over here. Like you know, people going to each other like, "Oh, you catching them?" or "Go catch them up." You know, whatever the saying might be. Like, do they have something over there? Yeah, what do they say over there?
Debu bass. Like debu means fat. So like, oh, debu bass or dekka bass is like dekka is big. So like there's Deka, a brand
like Mike Deka,
DEKA dekka. So like DEKA dekka. So that's like a term that they say, and yeah, there's other things that I didn't learn too much about the fishing nuances because it was more so we were like drinking and hanging out. But yeah, it was just neat though, because it really helped me a ton with just listening comprehension, especially when you got with groups that could barely speak any English. So it was neat, especially just to kind of like be able to be the fly on the wall in a way, and then would chime in once in a while, and then when I actually can understand what they're saying, respond, and then they're like, "What? Are they? Huh?" And then they just get all surprised that I understood them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What was like some of your bigger takeaways from like at least their fishing culture coming back.
They shake everything.
They shake
Everything is shaken.
no dead
Everything,
stick.
no dead stick. So it's either the extremes, right? It's like a 30-minute cast, or you're like shaking it nonstop.
Dang.
Yeah,
I'm the
like
shaker. I'd never stop shaking stuff.
Yeah, it's really hard to be the 30-minute cast guy. I don't think I could fish that way.
Maybe 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts though. Like I learned how to fish the scat correctly. I learned how to fish like certain other things correctly, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is how it was intended to be fished. I'm like, us Americans know nothing.
Yeah.
And that's why they come over here and whoop us, right? Because
Yeah, seriously. I mean,
subtle little nuances.
It's the subtle things that they pay attention to. My time with Taco was really cool. Like he would melt some plastic onto a bait just to like bulk a certain section of the bait up, and then re-swim it right by the boat. I'll be like, oh, that's it, and then duplicate it again and again just by like adding his own custom plastic. And then yeah, it's pretty cool to see the process when it comes to refining soft plastics and that kind of stuff, especially on the angler level. I mean, that's something that I've always really enjoyed doing is and development conversations. So it's pretty neat. I mean, speaking of development stuff, it was neat to see the super rare original the original. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. This is called the Flag 255, not to be mistaken with the knockoff version. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, and then you got like the TKs. I really like DRT. I mean, obviously, I'm with Mega Bass, but they make a really unique bait, and it's cool. They also collaborate with really small companies and give back, and support small bait makers, and really like give back to the community. So it's yeah, it was cool. This is like a tiny little shop that was called Fish with an exclamation mark, and it was inside a trailer. Like a literal like storage.
Matt Robertson trailer.
No, not like. What was he doing as a hot tub? Oh, he's like, I'll make my pontoon boat a hot tub.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, now I lost my train of thought. Damn it.
Fish.
Talk about a trailer.
Okay, so sorry, a shipping container. It was a shipping container that they painted blue and did like a big, it wasn't calligraphy, but it was like cool font and just said fish with exclamation point. And then you walk in and all it is just, that's how big the shop is, but it was just so, the way that it was procured was really cool. Like there was a lot of thought that went into it, and it was almost like a boutique tackle shop. Like I don't think I'd ever use those two words and put them together, but that's exactly what it was. It was like this boutique shop where they had some cool like hype clothing. There, it's all about like the style, right? Like it's not like the American like swim baiter where it's like the funny like costumes where it's like, oh, become a swim baiter in one package. Like I don't know if you guys seen those memes during Halloween, but there it's like there's a certain style for bass fishermen, and it's super kakui, which means like it's so cool, edgy. So it's like it was just neat to be a part of that, and then also to be brought there by this up and coming kid named Riku, and he was all over the place. Like he had a bunch of his old rods in there, and like he walked in, and like everyone in the store just like stopped him like, Riku-san, oh, and then like we're like asking him questions. It was like if KVD had walked into a shop. Like it was like a really cool thing, and then they just like completely ignore me, and I'm like perfect because I'm just like being this fly on the wall and just watching this whole cool microcosm of fishing culture take place, and to just see them be so enamored by this kid who's like, I mean, his biggest bag this year was like 55 or 60 pounds on like 5-pound tests during a tournament on Lake Biwa.
What?
Yeah, he's like, it's a Gojugo poundo, and I'm like, wait, Gojugo poundo. He's like, yeah, and I'm like, that's 55 pounds. He's like, yeah, and I'm like, what? Yeah,
oh my
crazy.
God.
Crazy stuff. I mean, the fish there are on a different level. The build, yeah, we can dive more into Biwa, but yeah, the build there. When I saw 2 fish, I saw a lot of fish, but we got 2 in the boat, and the ones we saw were incredibly healthy, and it was really cool to see their build. And
Do you think it's the type of bait fish they're eating in the lake?
yeah. IU and wow, I'm spacing on it. It's gonna like come to me, but it's the oh my gosh, I should know this. Oh well, either way, it'll come to me. Yeah, it starts with a K.
Are you googling it, Andy?
No, not Kawasaki.
Kawasaki.
There's some Kawasaki baits. Oh gosh, that's the worst. It's
talking about a bait or a bait fish right now?
It's a bait fish. So we're talking about like the forage that these fish get to eat on. So I use one of them, which is it's a common color bait that a lot of people will try to replicate, and it's just like a generic looking bait fish, but they have a ton of protein. I use one, AYU, and then if you guys just Google it, it will definitely pop up. Just bait fish in Biwa.
Yeah,
Biwa Ko stands for lake, so you'll hear Lake Biwa, and then you'll hear people say Biwa Ko, and Biwa Ko is like saying Lake Biwa, but in Japanese.
So while Andy looks this up, like say anybody that's listening or watching this right now is going to the classic and they see a taku or a koya, and they basically want to say hello, but maybe say something that's like cool in Japanese. Like whether it's a sign of respect or like
like the simplest one is like konnichiwa, right? And like that's like everyone knows that, or it sounds like that's the one that is like the most common term. Like konnichiwa is like, hey, good afternoon.
Right.
Well, like I learned like one of my buddies, because you would say like, oh, like what are you doing? Like in Japanese, you would say like, oh, nani shimasu ka? But like you would say like, oh, nani suru no? Like, what are you doing? So like just the way that they would say it is completely different. Like instead of saying like, ima doko ni irimasu ka? Like, where are you? You would say, oh, doko iru no? And you're like, oh. So it's like learning how to it's the short form of each word, like the correct particle to connect the verb at the end, or the short form of each noun, and then the correct particle, and then the verb. So it's weird. Whoa. Yeah, it's a trip. So I don't know. You can say "saiking do," which means like "What's up, man?" It's like they're like "What's up?" Saiking do. Yeah, it's like "What's up?" Oh, saiking do. Hi, saiking do. Or "O genki desu ka?" That would be more like proper. Is like are you well? Genki is wealth or health. So it's like "O genki desu ka?" That's when you add ka to the end, it makes it a question. So "O genki desu ka?" And they'd be like, "What?" They would really be surprised, especially coming out of your mouth.
I figured out why the bass are so big. They have gobies.
They do have gobies. They actually have some pretty big size gobies there too. They're pretty cool looking. They also have an endemic catfish.
Morocco minnow.
Is another minnow. I'm gonna look it up, because you know what? I'm gonna find it instantly, and that's gonna beat me up if I can find my phone.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know what my phone is. Oh, I got it. It starts with. It's killing me that I can't think of it.
You could look it up here, Andy. That's like the one thing I would love to do. Like, it's legitimately on one of my bucket lists, is to at least understand a handful of Japanese language just to communicate like with anglers. Yeah. That would be super freaking cool. I can imagine it's probably extremely difficult. Probably took you a long time.
Well, because they have so many different. So there's 3 different alphabets. There's kanji, which is actually originally Chinese characters that was adopted by Japanese. Then you have katakana, which is everything in the world that is not Japanese. So if this was a beer, they would say biru, and that would be spelt in katakana, biru. But if it was a Japanese thing, like this would, let's just say like this was like ayu, kore wa ayu, it would be spelt in hiragana, which is a different alphabet. So that's how they decipher things that are native to Japan versus not. So orange, oranji, is spelled with katakana, and coffee is kohi, it's spelled with katakana. Versus like spam musubi, like musubi would be in hiragana. So yeah, it takes a while. 4 years. I took 4 years of Japanese. It's the equivalent of taking like a year or 2 years of Spanish. Like that's how much like it translates to. Yeah, it's extremely hard.
Insane.
So
Here's an idea for you, Matty. Here's the $1 million idea.
Oh boy,
you make a bass fishing Rosetta Stone for English. Something that's simplified what you need to know to talk to Japanese anglers.
Wagasaki, that's what it's called.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everyone knows it. Everyone's heard of the term Wagasaki or the color Wagasaki. They actually have a bait fish that's Wagasaki. And they also have these big giant houseboats that go out where they have these cutout sections where everyone goes and fishes sabiki rigs for Wagasaki and using like a pound or 2 pound tests to catch these things. And they're tiny little bait fish. They're like 3 inches, 4 inches tops. And then you put them in a little bait well. And then you end up like you fry them. If you deep fry them all the way through, you can just like little bits of either like a citrus soy sauce with like a hot bowl of rice. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I was looking up. I think it was like on Morocco was the fish that they got there trying to catch, which would be the Wagasaki, I'm assuming.
Yeah, there's it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Definitely a high dense protein base forage for their feed. So I think that's why they get so nuts.
That's epic.
But yeah, one of the guys he gave me a cool new. This is the Depths like Whopper Plopper, their version of one. I've actually never opened it up. Let me check it out.
But it's got like the big metal prop, right? Not even like a prop. It's like almost like a wing of an airplane.
Trail.
Yeah. Insane bubble trail. That's how they would say it.
You just need to voice over that, Andy. That's their commercial. It's just
he just needs to work on his Japanese accent. Yeah.
I wasn't trying to say it like that. I was trying to say like
bubble trail. This is called the spin no terror. It's fine, guys. I'm Asian. I can get away with it.
Sam Max goes tea and honey, Andy. Tea and honey.
Cheers.
No, but this is a pretty cool bait. This is the Evoke 0150. Yeah.
I like how big the body profile is on it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Kenta Kimura actually developed this bait. That's pretty neat. We'll give it a shot. That guy's a G, man. He's on a whole nother level too. It was just really cool to see what like how these guys kind of go and fish certain areas and what they do. But yeah, I encourage people to go onto my YouTube and take a look at the videos that I did, the series that I put out. Go on to Matty Wong Fishing on my YouTube. Subscribe, please, if you haven't subscribed. But then check out the series 1 through 4, which I labeled. It was really cool. It was definitely an experience of a lifetime, and hopefully it encourages people to go out, maybe step outside of your comfort zone and take a trip to Japan yourself and experience the country for sorry, this is probably not sounding great.
You're good, buddy. Yeah, if you want to go watch Kenta spank Matty on the water, you can go click it.
All right.
JK.
Want to go that far? I beat Kenta many of times, but not on his home water.
That's very fair. But for people that are listening or watching, the link straight to Matty's channel is in the show notes, so you guys can go right there, direct you to it. Definitely encourage you guys to do so. They're freaking bangers. But dude, so here's my last question for you, unless Andy's got something, and we'll let you go here. What was better for you coming away from Japan? Was it the fishing tackle or the food?
Ooh,
I gained like 10 pounds, I think.
Awesome.
For me, and that's really hard to do. Like for me, like I've always had an issue with like trying to put on weight. Like I like for a little bit I went on this thing, like but then I guess now I'm just like I'm like, all right,
you're 35.
35. I'm just gonna pack it on. I think it was mostly like beer weight.
Are they big beer drinkers?
Oh my god,
it's what Orion is the big beer over there, right? Orion.
Well, they say Odeon.
Odeon.
Orion. And I think that's a Korean beer. So you racist. No. But no, it's like Sapporo and Asahi, Kirin. Those are the main three. But yeah, Orion is really good too. Yeah, the beers, it's not like heavy IPAs like they have here. It's just really nice, refreshing, light lagers that are they clean the taps on every single bar, so you can taste the beer. When you get to a bar and you're just like, man, when was the last time you guys cleaned your tap line? Like, it's very clear that they just do not upkeep that stuff. In Japan, It's like the pride of serving crisp, cold, fresh beer is like super important. And I had phenomenal beer across the entire country, along with a bunch of good poo-poos and stuff like that. Like top up small plate. Sorry, in whole. I keep saying,
clear that up. You can't just say, you can't drop that on us and not just specify.
Okay, so sorry.
The show I took good poo-poos and drank lots of good beer.
I get the poo-poos. Okay, so in Hawaii we say poo-poos instead of tapas or appetizers. So that's just me. Culturally, I can't remove that from my vocabulary. I say pau a lot too, P-A-U, which means finished. And I'll just say it to my friends, like they understand. I'm like, oh yeah, what time you pau? And they're like, what? And I'm like, oh, sorry, we're in America. What time are you finished? And they're like, oh, why did you say so in the first place? So it's like, yeah, I gotta catch myself. But yeah, poo-poos is appetizers. So if you ever go to Hawaii and you want to be cool and be like, oh, where's you guys got any good poo-poos here? And then they'll be like, what island are you from? No, you get that giveaway because you sound like Mort from Family Guy, so you can't really get away.
Oh, it's awesome.
Sorry,
that's totally getting clipped, by the way. That's totally getting clipped. That's super cool, dude. It's making me want to go to Japan.
You should, and if you ever have any questions or anything like that, like feel free, seriously, like reach out. I've already told, like I went and did a Debasu talk at Athens the other day, and that was one of the topics, so we talked about real briefly. And I offered, reach out to me if you have any questions, and I'll try to put you with some right people, because you'll be surprised. There's a few expats there that oh God, don't do it. There's a few expats there that are super into like just kind of showing the world what Japan has to offer when it comes to bass fishing and their whole culture. I guess last thing before I go was just going to show you guys my BFS setup. This is the Mega Bass Siglet with a paired up Aldebaran, and I got like 13-pound braid on it with I think like an 8-pound leader. This is a little topwater dealio, but yeah, they're pretty sweet. And in Japan, it's a pretty big deal for the trout. Some guys are getting into it more so for the bass. I mean, they've all been doing it for a really long time, but this is one of the cool, the kakui things to do. You got little tiny micro jigs and tiny little swim baits and just cool stuff like that, where you're still able to go into the nature and enjoy a bait casting experience, but not having to, like, when you crack a fish, like you're ripping it straight to your chest because it's like half pound. You can actually like set the hook on a half-pound fish and like fight it back like you would like a 5-pounder on a regular bait caster. So it's kind of cool. Like it just downsizes the whole experience. And it's definitely enjoyable. It's brought a lot of joy back to me. For me during times where fishing is maybe slow or there's only small fish in a certain area. It definitely makes it entertaining and fun. So I know that was something that you wanted to talk about, so I climbed up in the attic and I got the BFS rod for you, so I was going to show it off.
You snuck it in there. No, that's perfect. I didn't even think we were going to get to it.
Yeah, I actually needed to pull it out because I just got the boat back here, so I'm pretty stoked to get her back out on the water.
You got everything ready to rock?
Ready to rock. Yeah, got first 1 hour on it yesterday, and now I got to go put in the other 2 hours on it. So.
Heck yeah, buddy. Obviously beyond the YouTube and tournament side, is there anything that people should be looking out for on Matty Wong side of things?
If you guys are interested in any of like the merchandise that helps support me directly. If you go and check out lateralvisionbrand.com and then type in Matty Wong when you get into the search bar there, and you'll see my whole capsule. 100% of the profits from that whole capsule goes to supporting me on the road. So that helps me a ton. And then obviously checking out my stuff on YouTube, that also helps because that's just a very, very small amount of passive income that helps pay for some of the bills. But that's huge. And then also the support on the gram and the TikToks and whatnot. I've been trying to get better on the TikTok. Started doing some TikTok lives and people have been liking it. So no, I just leave. I leave that to the other people. I can't do it.
Was it Bill Owen that goes down there and dances with his kids or something like that?
Yeah. I'll leave that to Hillary Martin.
Yeah, I hear you, buddy. But dude, that's freaking sick. And I lost my Aloha Matty Wong shirt to my wife. She now wears it, so it's at least being used.
Hey, which as long as it's still in use, that's all I care about.
That's right. And speaking of that, before you go here, one of our next guests coming on texted me to tell you this. Mr. Keith Tuma told me to tell you that his girlfriend is your #1 fan.
Oh, wow. Well, thanks, Keith.
He's laughing down here on stage. Tuma's one of our favorite. We actually joke that Keith is the real host of this show. We're just subbing in for him while he's going.
Yeah, it's okay. You guys are just keeping the seat warm,
That's right. That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
You guys are going to have a great show. Keith's a great guy, and you guys are as well. So
appreciate it, buddy. Appreciate you as always taking time to come on here, and looking forward to watching you at Toledo Bend, buddy.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I appreciate it, and I like the little show and tell deal, and get to tell you guys about my trip. But yeah, hopefully I get to see you guys soon. I'll be at the Tennessee Outdoor Show if anyone's interested. I think just completely forgot about that. Friday I'll be there giving a talk about oversized top waters and glides and whatnot. That's going to be a topic at 2:30 on Friday at the Outdoors show, and then Saturday I'll be at the Mega Bass booth. So if you guys are going to that show, come by and say what's up to me. I'll be stoked to say what's up and wrap it up about fishing and whatnot. But
heck yeah, dude, that's freaking awesome. All right, buddy, we appreciate you. And worst case, Matty, I will see you. We'll see you at the Classic.
Wonderful. Sounds good.
All right, boss. We'll talk to you soon.
Have a good night.
All right, fellas. Take care. Good night.
Peace out. Matty Wong, everybody. Always a trip, always a good time. And I was super intrigued since following the content of him going over to Japan. Obviously, Andy, we shared some of the posts back and forth. And I think it's officially confirmed. Even Tuma confirmed over text that we're going to Japan. We might have to hire Matty as our travel guide to take us over there. It's got to happen eventually. It sounds super freaking cool.
Just such a long flight, and I hate being in planes.
Yeah, you'll live. Andy is such a stressed out flyer, guys. You have no idea. Like, we simply flew to Charlotte from Buffalo, like
dying.
Like a 45-minute plane ride, and you think that it's like 3 years we're flying to this place. Just stressed beyond belief. But no, it's okay. Some people just don't like it, man. To be honest with you,
I flew to Maui, which was like one of the longest flights of my life. I think we were in the air for almost 9 hours from Dallas. And by like the end of the second movie, I was like, are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Well, Mike says, no, sorry, Andy. The worst thing that will happen is the door blows off, which actually happened.
That actually did happen, or an engine blows up. Like, my mind just thinks about like the catastrophic. Like, I am the guy that had a food processor blade fall on his hand out of a cabinet. Like, bad things happen to me. It's just the way my life is. So
yeah, you guys have no idea. Like, we're not even kidding when Deacon and I joke about this, because it's just more like, because it's all true, and it's just like, how does this happen to one person or one family? Like, Andy will just text us, hey guys, might not be able to hop on a meeting. My house might blow up here soon, but like totally nonchalant, no big deal. House might blow up. And then the next
we had
day,
a gas leak.
yeah, the next day is like, sorry guys, Emmy's got the West Nile turtle Ebola virus, like can't come in today. Like it's just like this crazy stuff that happens in Andy's life.
Since Christmas, it's been absolutely insane in our household. But somebody asked me to say I am Batman. Then back in the comments, I had to throw it in there for the guy who asked me to say I am Batman. So just one time. Yeah.
Why not? That's awesome.
Well,
thank you again.
Have some fun with it, and I'm ready to turn it over to the real host.
Yeah, I think we are too. I thank you again to Matty Wong for coming on, telling us about his trip to Japan, and even learning that he played hockey growing up, which was pretty freaking cool. And I think it's definitely not gonna be the last time we talk to him about hockey. I'm serious. We should do a legitimate, if people want it, a legitimate like hockey panel of anglers on here, because I can't stop talking about it. But thank you again to Matty, and we're here in a second. We're going to take a little short 30-second break because we have the show is not over. If you guys have been tuning in for the 2024 season here on Serious Angler, we have 2 more guests joining us. We're going to do a little underrated, overrated, which I will 100% come out here and say that I took from Alex Rudd, a good pal of ours. His game, it was super fun. I've been on a bunch of shows with him on his deal doing underrated, overrated, and it's a fun time. So we're gonna be doing some of that. We got some good topics for the boys tonight, and it's gonna be pretty fun. So we're gonna get them on, Mr. Keith Tuma and Brandon Brown, here in a second, but a quick break and message from X2 Power.
In the world of battery power, a word to the wise: compromise elsewhere.
All right, we are back, and we are back for part 2 of the show. We're going to bring these guys on one at a time to chat with them briefly before we get the whole crew here and do some little underrated, overrated. And I think almost an hour into the show, we might as well get on the OG host of Serious Angler, and that is Mr. Keith Tuma. What's going on, man?
Dylan.
What's up, man?
Oh, dude, it's been so long. I've been missing you guys.
Yeah, it's been a little bit.
How in the heck am I supposed to follow up Matty Wong? I mean, come on. The only thing I've got going is I'm the host.
It's your show, bro. You've been late. You've been just gone who knows where, fishing, and we're just holding down the fort for you.
I've been hiding up in Minnesota is what's going on. This traveling thing, I'm not used to it anymore, and it's played its toll here. So we're getting back into the swing of things, though.
Yeah, you're down in Florida right now, right?
I am currently about 3 miles from Lake Toho, because I can't pronounce the actual
I don't
name.
think anybody can. Maybe Matty can.
I'm sure.
Some of the lingo he was throwing out there, I'm like, I don't know what you're saying, but it sounds cool. Like,
No, the dude's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And Rainey definitely is blushing, by the way.
Well, so we had a comment in here. If people haven't seen it yet, we played it. I want to say the first episode we had Matty on. We played it during the show. But he was in Hawaii Five-0, like the TV show, as like was it like a teenager that was just getting arrested? It was super funny scene. We'll have to clip it again and put it on social, but it's hilarious.
Heck yeah.
And I'm sure he's building quite the fan base. But Tuma, it's good to get you back on here, and we're gonna be diving into a whole bunch of stuff tonight. It's gonna be a little.
This is going to be interesting for sure. I've got a beer and I'm ready to rock and roll. So
you might need 2 or 3.
Oh, I'm only allowed 1 more.
Oh no!
Oh, he's
I got a jersey I have to get into. No Batman stuff.
He's been capped.
Yep.
That's awesome, buddy. Well, dude, so our next guest here is his first time on the show, Mr. Brandon Brown. And before I bring him on, I gotta brag about this dude, because a wizard when it comes to baits, especially big baits. You'll see it in the wall behind him here when we bring him on. But he's become like my liaison because I am an idiot when it comes to getting into swim baiting. And he's the only reason I know a lick of anything about it. So let's bring him on here. Mr. Brendan Brown, what's going on, dude?
Thank you for the introduction.
You're welcome. I'm no Dave Mercer,
It's a
but I
little
can
much,
try.
though.
I've trained them well to take over when I'm feeling a little shy. You know, get new guests on and stuff like that. I don't want to run you out the door too quick. So,
well, Keith,
man,
Brendan,
thank you for
Brendan, Keith.
Hello,
How's it
nice to
going,
meet you.
Brendan?
I'd
How's it
shake your
going?
hand, but you know we're a ways away.
Keith, Brendan is a warrior in the live stream comment sections, providing truth and facts to the conversations that are always had. So
Awesome.
we appreciate Brendan, and it's been long past due to get him on this show. But I
Thank
think
you
it'd
for
be a
having
nice
me.
icebreaker, getting in some underrated, overrated. I don't
Sounds
know
like
if you guys know how this works, but to quickly run through it, essentially we have a list of topics here. What was that, Andy?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I said, give me the
Oh, you did?
rules.
Oh, there.
Andy was going to sing I'm a Barbie girl or something like that.
The only rule is there are no rules.
Oh, great.
It sounds even better with his emphysema voice. But so essentially we have a list of topics here. We're going to run through, and basically we're going to go around the horn here. We'll start with Andy, go to Keith, Brendan, and myself. And basically you have to state whether you think it's overrated, underrated, but you can also choose like, I don't think it's either. I think it's like adequately where it's at and give a reason why. All right. So that's
We have
kind
to
of how it's going to
justify our
run.
answers now, too.
Yeah, it just makes it fun because we might have to argue over some of this stuff.
Oh, debate sounds good time.
Yeah. That's
I'm
what
sure
happens when you
there'll
got
be
beers
debate.
involved, Keith.
Perfect.
Let's
All
get
right.
this on.
Yes, sir. The first one, we're going to start off a little hot. And that is the NPFL. Andy, do you think it's underrated, overrated, or is it right where it should be?
I think it's right where it should be, but it's moving into underrated because of the star power that's moving there. And I think you're going to see if they can figure out like their media and how they live stream events, I think it's going to improve vastly this next year.
Okay, I'm with it. Keith?
Not overly well versed in the NPFL, but from what I've seen, I'm going to say they're right where they're supposed to be. You know, it's a fairly new platform and tournament fishing venue, if you will, and
Right.
I think they'll get the kinks figured out and they'll make a go at it. Absolutely, payouts seem good.
All right. Brendan, what do you
Yeah.
think?
I've never really watched much of it. So I would say it's probably adequately rated since they're a new company. It'd probably take them a while to kind of figure things out and work everything out. So I'd put them adequately rated, I say.
Okay. We
See,
got a
that's
couple
interesting.
comments coming in here saying it's overrated. I'll be
Ooh.
the flip here. I'm going to say it's underrated. I'm going to say it's underrated for a couple of reasons. One, I'm going to say the people they got behind the scenes from the top down are one, genuinely good people that are in it for the right reasons, in it for the anglers. So they're at least going down the right direction.
Mhm.
I would say the media side, the back end, like to Andy's point, definitely needs to improve. But again, they have the right people in place. I believe it's still Tanner and Tucker Lyons, which if you guys, anyone knows the Lyons brothers, they do amazing work. They're like super camera savvy, social media, like freaks when it comes to it. The production, especially like in this world, like you saw the whole argument last year of guys using live, on live, forward facing sonar. They did a great production of that, showing the overlay and things like that. I think that they're headed in the right direction. They might have to work out some scheduling and things like that. But the nice thing I will say about their scheduling, say it's a bad schedule or not, that's fine. You can argue if the lakes are bad, whatever. They work around Bass and MLF. They make it so that at least they work with the trails. If those trails choose to work back in tandem, that's up to them, because there's a couple of guys that are MLF that can't fish the full schedule, unfortunately, but they're still going to fish the NPFL. So I think they have that going for them. They're very angler first. So I'm just going to say it's underrated from this point on. I think that they have a really great product, and it's interesting, the system, and I'm excited to see where they're going. But I guess the consensus is as a group, if we had to pick one, I'm going to say we'll hop on at it's right where it's supposed to be.
Supposed to be for this time in their progression.
Yeah. All right. Next one.
All right.
This isn't just fishing talk here, at least on part 2 of our shows now.
Okay.
So we're going Aaron Rodgers. Is he overrated or is he underrated? What do you got, Andy?
Prime of his career, he was right where he's supposed to be. Now that he's in the twilight era, I think the Jets should have traded for Jordan Love.
I think hindsight, they probably think that too. What do you got, Keith?
I do not have a dog in this fight, so I'm just going to go ahead and bow out on this one. I don't follow a ton of football, to be honest with you.
Really? We were taking bets on if you were a Vikings fan or not, and we're going to be like if he's going to go nuts because we're talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I was like, if he's a Vikings fan, we have to ask him about Brett Favre.
Oh, Lord. Favre. Okay. How do we pronounce that? No, not hacking on Brett here. But yeah, back in the day when I was growing up, we lived in Florida, southern part of Florida, and we were all Dolphins fans. The Don Shula era, Dan Marino, Uwe von Schamann, the barefoot kicker. Yeah, I mean that was my team. So if I ever had a team, that would be the one. But that was back in the dang 70s and early 80s. So, but I do not have a dog in the fight when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Supposed to be.
What you got, Brendan?
I don't watch any sports at all.
Boom, guys. So
yeah,
what are we doing?
Terrible.
We're rescheduling a new guest. No.
I put my time in with baits and fishing. That's my time. That's where my time goes.
All right, we can appreciate that.
I had to Google him while y'all were talking. I was like, "Who is?"
You had to Google Aaron Rodgers. Holy crap! I'm actually genuinely impressed. You had to Google that.
True.
Good for you.
I don't know.
I wish I didn't follow football. It takes too much stress out of my life. I'm gonna go where he's at right now. I'm gonna say Aaron Rodgers is overrated. I think he's entertaining to follow along, but I just don't think he's there.
When he goes on his darkness retreats and comes back and swears he saw the light.
Yeah. Some of his tangents are actually hilarious to just follow along. Him and Jimmy Kimmel and all that stuff. But we won't get too political on this show, and we'll go on to the next one here. Okay, so here's next. We'll bring this back. If you guys should all know about this, a wacky rig, underrated or overrated? Go ahead, Andy.
Ooh. Actually, I think I'm going to say it's slightly underrated. And the reason is everyone kind of just throws it in the back of the boat, right? Or leaves it at home. And it's actually caught a lot of really big fish. It's kind of the way that introduced a lot of beginner anglers into bass fishing and kind of like got the itch and the bug for them. I'm going to go underrated on the wacky rig.
Okay, Keith?
I have to agree. Very underrated, despite the fact that everybody's got one rigged up all the time.
Even the people who talk crap about it have
100%. 100%. And I grew up. Well, not grew up. When I first got into tournament fishing, I was throwing the dang wacky rig around, and I've still got one in the boat to this day. So, I mean, it's one of those necessary evils, but definitely underrated. Does anybody want to be caught out there? It's like riding a scooter. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's fun, but it gets the job done.
It's fun until your friends find out.
Hey, I'm flipping, 65-pound braid in the thickest of grass. Oh no, I'm throwing a little wacky rig on a spinning rod in the open holes. Whatever. The thing catches fish. Underrated.
Okay. What you got, man?
Oh man, I don't own a spinning rod anymore. So I'm going to go. Adequately. I can go adequately rated because it does catch big fish. So you can put it in places like if I'm going to fish something like that, I'm fishing like a big old giant Nico rig for like docks and stuff, like a big old 12-inch worm. So I'm going to say adequately rated. That's where I'm going.
You say a 12-inch worm for a Nico?
Yes, for a Nico.
God, you're my damn spirit animal, Brendan. I wish I could do this. I wish I could do stuff like that. My problem is I'll go throw it and I'll be like 5 casts in and I'm like, God damn it. I'm looking at a fish that won't eat it and I'll just throw a wacky rig instead.
And you're gonna catch it, aren't you?
Yeah. Well,
Oh, man.
no, dude, that's awesome. Wacky rig. I think I got to go and try to channel a John Cox here and say I don't think there's ever been a time that it's been overrated because I don't know if he's ever fished anything else besides that and a damn swim jig or a frog. So it's I'm gonna say I would agree all around here. Everyone's saying in the comments too. It's got to be underrated.
Mm-hmm.
All right. AC/DC, the band. What do we got, Andy?
Oh, this is a controversial topic for a lot of people, right? Like a lot of people hate AC/DC, and then you have the other end of the spectrum, and a lot of people absolutely love them. I'm going to put them right where they're supposed to be. They're adequate. I love some songs of AC/DC, and I can't stand others. So they're right where they're supposed to be.
Keith and Anthony guys are going to go at it here, I think. What do you got, Keith?
Adequately underrated. How's that? No, phenomenal band. I mean, come on. I grew up listening to AC/DC. And I mean, any 80s kid, which I'm way older than the three of you put together. So,
oh, stop it.
Even 70s, but no. Yeah,
take a stand.
No, I'm gonna say underrated, man. I mean, they got great music. It's timeless. It's still. I mean, my daughter was born in 06 and she's an AC/DC fan. So I mean, it fits all genres, I guess. Their music.
We have a comment that says Bruce Wayne is right on this, talking about Andy because of his voice. That's awesome. Brendan, did you have to search what AC/DC is?
No, actually, I like them. I like them quite a bit. They were the first. The Back in Black was the first ever rock song I ever listened to. I'm going to put them underrated because I feel like that's the gateway drug to other rock songs and rock bands, I believe. I don't know. That's like the first one I ever heard because it's like real popular and stuff. So underrated for me.
I think it's a great point. Like it definitely is. When you think about AC/DC, I think about anything that's cool sport-wise happening when you got Back in Black or what do you have?
Bells, Thunderstruck.
Thunderstruck. I mean, Thunderstruck gives me it's a whole different or a little rated R here. That is college drinking games, but like nonetheless, like AC/DC is that and Metallica are like the theme of anything cool that has ever happened.
Yes.
Like it's always with an AC/DC song or Metallica song. I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna go underrated. I think it's. I would say if 10 years ago it's adequately rated. Right now they're being lost, so we're gonna call them underrated.
Yeah, they used to.
How dare anybody say overrated? If they can ban you guys from the comment section for saying overrated. All right. We actually were just talking about this a little bit with Andy and Brendan. I'm actually interested to hear your take here. BFS, Bait Finesse Systems. What do you got, Andy? Overrated or underrated?
I have one, and I've thrown it 5 times, but I did have a client bring his own BFS rod and catch almost a 6-pound smallmouth on my boat on like a 1/16 ounce jig head. And it was freaking sweet. It took him about 8 minutes to reel it in. But I'm going to go overrated on BFS because just about anything you throw with BFS, you can do with the spinning rod.
I'm with that. Keith, what do you got? Do you know what BFS is?
I don't know.
He's pleading the fifth.
Are we talking like sissier than the wacky rig here? I mean,
it's a casting set with like 8-pound braid and like 5-pound fluoro. So technically, yes.
I'm out. I hate using a spinning rod, but I'll do it if I have to. And no, if I got to go lighter than that, I'm out. I mean, you want to talk about ice fishing noodle sticks? I mean, we can do that. Yeah, I got. Once again, sorry guys, no dog in this fight.
You don't have to apologize.
Hey, you could just slap overrated on it because if you don't like it, you don't like it.
I don't know anything about it, so how can I say? What if it's the next big thing, and pretty soon the only way you can catch a freaking bass is with this BFS stuff? You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's underrated.
Yeah. Great comment.
Yes, BFS being frustrated severe.
Does the BFS stand for big freaking swim baits? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Right? That's what
Yes.
if it is, I'm in for it. I'm good with that. That's
So are we
underrated.
just gonna all agree here that it's
Okay.
overrated entirely?
For our BFS swim
Yeah.
baits, I got one sitting right here. All right, like you can throw that guy, and for reference, it's literally the size of my index finger, right? Like maybe,
Dude, that's like 8
3
inches, isn't it?
Yes. If we angle it right in the camera, it's 8 inches.
That's a dang keychain, is what that is, Andy. That's not a bait.
I know.
That's funny. All right, so we'll all agree it is overrated.
Oh,
right.
thank you for voting for me.
All right. Taylor Swift with the NFL.
With the
Even if you don't follow the NFL, I know
Oh,
we
I've
don't,
seen her
Brendan doesn't know who the Aaron Rodgers is.
adequately frustrating.
Yeah, being frustrated severely. That is what we call Taylor Swift at the NFL. BFS.
And if anybody was here at the beginning of the show, I talked about how I sat literally 5 rows from her at the Bills game on Sunday night. It was like the modern day paparazzi in my section. People are running up, trying to take photos of her, and Jason Kelsey and whoever else was in the suite with them. It's whatever. Like, yeah, she's probably the most famous person you'll ever lay your eyes on in America at the moment, because every teenage girl and dad and mom and uncle and aunt knows their songs. Like in the NFL, it's adequately frustrating, but I mean, on the grand scheme of things, she might be slightly, I don't know. I'd probably put her right where she is. She's adequate. She's adequate. Yeah. She's right where she's
adequate.
Yeah, she's adequate.
Well, that suite with her and Jason Kelsey, there's an underrated, overrated in that suite.
Yeah.
Jason Kelsey's severely underrated.
Yes.
God bless
He's a
that
man of the people. He was holding up like all the little girls that were in my section and like having them like say hi to Taylor, and she was waving back to them and stuff. It was actually really
And he
cool.
didn't have a shirt on.
And he didn't have a shirt on, so it was kind of weird and creepy, but he was also blitzed because he was running through the tailgates and doing shots out of bowling balls with Bill's Mafia. So
Nice.
like, yeah.
He's the next president. What do you got, Keith?
I'm going overrated, damn it, because no, how many stages does this chick need? I mean, seriously. So anywhere she goes, everywhere. Now she's trying to take over the NFL. It's fine. Whatever. Do your thing. Support your boyfriend. I'm all for it. Have fun. But every 10 minutes or every 5 minutes or whenever Kelsey got the ball, they'd pan up to the booth where she's sitting in and she's hugging everybody around and woo, and good for her.
The NFL is technically an entertainment company, so she's entertainment.
I get it. Go for it. Have fun. Knock yourself out. Overrated.
I want to see how many dips in the viewers they have when they show her. Like how much loss of viewership they have. People just turning off the channel.
Well, maybe they're going after the younger generation. I have no idea.
I mean, they definitely did get people into the sport, you know, the Swifties, as they say.
Well, all of her followers. There you go. Yeah, that's millions.
Yeah, I think Dave Mercer's the only Chiefs fan that I know of. Because other than that, it's Swifties. I'm generally trying to think of any friends that I have that are Chiefs fans, and Mercer's the only person that comes to mind that's a Chiefs fan. Yeah, it's all fake. Chiefs fans are all fake.
I won't lie. Like growing up, the only team I ever played on Madden was the Chiefs, but that was when it was like Tony Gonzalez, Priest Holmes, Jamal Charles.
But that's Madden. Madden, there's no such thing as team loyalty. You're just trying to win.
Yeah. Like one of my favorite playoff games I ever watched was, I forgot who the quarterback was for the Chiefs, but it was the Colts and Chiefs when Peyton Manning was in his prime, and the score was like 48-43, and there was 0 punts, and they just scored every time they went up and down the field. Nobody could play defense. They just threw bombs the entire game. It's incredible.
That sounds like a fun game.
Yeah, it was.
All right. Brendan, please do not tell me you're a Taylor Swift fan.
I am not. I'm
He doesn't know who she is.
Overrated.
On his back wall,
Did
those
you
are
have
her
to
albums.
search? Yeah. Did you
Yeah,
have to search on Google to see who Taylor Swift was?
No, come on now. My little sister listens to it, but
Behind his swim bait section, there's all her albums.
Yeah. It's
oh
yeah.
man.
It's his drawer of Tay Tay.
Oh man. No.
What you
no.
got, Brendan?
Overrated. 100%.
Overrated. Yeah, I think we all
110%.
agree. I think we all agree there big time. All right. The next one, because I'm sick of talking about Taylor Swift already. This is going after Andy here a little bit. But poppers, overrated or underrated?
Underrated. I freaking love me a good popper bite. And
yeah,
it's just like disappeared. People, Pop Rocks are underrated too. Those things are fun, but
Pop Rocks are underrated as hell. That's my damn childhood.
Pop Rocks, you just throw them at your friends and like they jump because they're like, what the hell? But yeah, no, Popper's underrated. I always have a popper tied on once the water hits like 58 to 60 degrees, and I don't take it off until it gets almost too cold to throw one, which is like low 50s, upper 40s in the fall. Incredible bait, underutilized, catches a lot of fish, catches a lot of big fish, especially if it's a Rio Rico, like the best popper ever made.
I got you.
Come on, what about the Rapala Skitter Pop?
I mean, that's what you like.
I mean, they work.
Sponsor plugs.
Underrated, 100% underrated. It's I think a very underutilized bait that it gets bit. It always it's like the damn wacky rig of topwaters, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, it calls fish up when a lot of other topwaters don't. And I don't think I know a pile of people fish with them, but do you fish with them in a tournament setting?
Oh,
I mean, at times.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving right along.
Definitely
got,
underrated.
Brennan?
Definitely. You know
Underrated.
that picture of that fish that sent you?
Yeah.
That was a popper on a popper.
What?
Yeah, popper.
All right, we're putting you on the spot. Which one?
One you
Screenshot.
can't get.
He won't say it. He's like, screw you guys. I'm out.
Balsa popper.
Whoa. Like something you
There
made?
go. Nope, someone else made it. Marty Burns. Oh, if he'll ever show. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's
Big
freaking
sweet.
sick.
Yeah.
Did you paint that?
Nope. TK Stanley did. So
That's freaking sick.
yeah, that's
You
that's
do
the
most
popper
of
that
all
did it.
your own paint stuff, correct?
Mhm.
For the most part.
Yep, a lot of it. Yeah.
God, wizard. All right, we're gonna talk about that later, but I'm gonna get sidetracked here
sweet.
if we start talking about it.
Do you throw 12-inch poppers?
Yeah, the kid's got like those freaking GT poppers that are like,
I know they're like this.
yeah, you got to use like a 8,000 size spinning reel.
Listen, if we had freshwater fish that attack baits like GT, freshwater fishing would be like the biggest thing on earth.
Dude, 100%.
Totally.
That
Pretty
literally
awesome.
in my little free time that I do have, all I watch for the most part. I mean, I watch some bass fishing videos, but like I watch some like that puts me to sleep. I watch some GT videos, and it's just like annihilating everything.
like-
and I'm like,
Right.
I want to do that.
Dream
You
like
seen the
dream,
guy
my
that's-
dream fishing trip is like chasing GTs and then also going after like rooster fish down in like
Mhm.
Costa Rica area.
Heck
Like,
yeah.
Those are the two fish that I want to catch before I pass in life. Like dreams.
Yes. Have you seen those videos of the GTs like hitting the birds and like eating them like as the
Yes.
birds are flying right above the water, dude? It's
Yeah.
crazy. I
Unreal.
want to get one so bad.
Like when you look up badass in a definition, you just see a picture of a GT.
That
Pretty
is
much.
standard.
It's freaking sick. All right, back to poppers because we're gonna get sidetracked. Poppers, I'm gonna go overrated.
Wow.
No, I'm gonna go overrated.
Just remove him from the stream real fast, Tuma. You're taking over.
kick him off.
Yeah, here.
I mean, look, I'm not too biased when it comes to like fishing techniques. I think as long as you're catching them, it's fun regardless. But I don't know, man. When I'm using a top water, I don't want to go and work something, wait there like a jerk bait for 5 seconds. I want to be moving. Like I want to have something
That's
that's
why
like
you
a
need to
walking
fish a
bait.
chugger and not a popper. You need something that chugs.
Too
Yeah,
much.
so I'd rather just throw a spook or something instead and still catch the same fish.
Sometimes.
I don't know. And if not, I'm gonna throw popping frog with 65-pound braid.
That's a popper.
No, it doesn't
Oh,
count.
hell,
It's still
that counts
frog.
as popper?
Doesn't
It's
count.
a popper.
You said
count.
popper.
I don't
think it
stop
counts.
moving.
I think it does.
Frog. Popper. In the first word.
You did not specify hard bait or frog,
That's right.
so it can count. It can count.
Lawyered Andy.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Yeah. Yeah. All right, but I will say the overall answer here was underrated. So I'll concede here. Okay. Next one we have. This one's going to be interesting. Tournaments on the St. Lawrence River.
Overrated. I honestly want them to stop. Like, I love smallmouth fishing. I'm not a huge fan of summertime smallmouth fishing. The mortality rate, no matter how many fish go back, is still relatively high because of barotrauma and etc. I mean, they're awesome fish. They're great to look at, but they're actually pretty sensitive when it comes to temperature and barotrauma, etc. And if they stopped smallmouth tournaments, I wouldn't be upset about it. I'd actually probably be a little happy.
And that's easy to say because it's your home water. I mean, I get it. The
Oh,
piles
it's
of
5
people-
hours from me. Like,
well, it's still your home water. I'm gonna go overrated as well. It is one of the most phenomenal fisheries I've ever been on. Granted, I did not get her dialed in this past year, but clearly with history and what everybody knows of the St. Lawrence, they're there. But ease up off it for a little bit. Just same thing. It's hard on these fish, and they're getting moved all over and whatever. They go back to some places and sometimes they don't or whatever. But yeah, it's overrated. There's other venues that would be, or other lakes that would be equally as good, or I don't know about better, but equally as good.
Heard that. Brennan, what do you got?
Never fished it, and I've never done much research on it. So I don't watch too much live bass fishing or any of that. So I've seen some really cool, like, people catching like big fish out there all the time. I'm just going to go adequately rated because I don't have any information about it. Like anything I don't have skin in the game, I guess you could say. But
I was waiting to
Yes.
hear an overrated because guys aren't throwing 10-inch glide baits or anything like that.
you
Everybody's
could
throwing a
probably.
drop shot.
You
Oh,
could
you
get
do?
'em,
Like, you
I'm sure
can.
you
You
could.
can for
I'm
sure.
sure you could.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm gonna totally agree that it's overrated in a couple fronts here. I will say I think it's adequately rated when you're the angler that's out there fishing it because it's a great fishery.
Mhm.
But everybody knows it's a great fishery. But I'm gonna say it's overrated from the tournament side. Too many big tournaments going out there bringing fish back. But also from a viewership standpoint, I think people are ready to see something new.
Yeah.
But I also understand. I do understand before I have any people trying to comment here. The business side, when a town with as loyal of a fan base as you get up there, for like the around Messina and things like that show up for weigh-ins, and the town is paying you to come here, it's a no-brainer as a business to go. I do understand that, but I think from a viewership standpoint, they're getting overrated. People want to see something new, so I'm gonna agree that it is overrated. All right, next one I got. This will be interesting for you, Brennan. I have mag drafts. Underrated or overrated?
Ooh, this one's tough for me because I don't throw them a ton. I think they're one of the most fun ways to catch a bass. If you have it dialed in, you can make it swim perfectly and you have the right setup. I think I'm going to go slightly underrated on it, though, because a lot of people kind of just poo-poo on the bait, but it just always gets giant bites and followers. So I'm going to go underrated on a mag draft.
Okay. Keith? What's a mag draft?
Yeah, is that one of them 4-inch cricket things? No. I'm going to say adequately rated. I'm neither here nor there. I throw them. I catch fish on them. They're fun. They work well when they work well. The longevity of the bait could be a little bit better, but it just is what it is. It's any big soft plastic swim bait. It's gonna get tore up. Northern Minnesota, we've got a lot of muskie and pike and stuff like that. And guess what? They like those things too. And it's a one and done deal when you tag or hook into one of those, it's over. It's like, well, that was expensive. So
on to the next one.
Or your line gets cut, they hit it way in front and scissor jaw it. So I'm going to say adequately rated. Hell of a tool. But they've got a lot of competition too. So but if you're speaking specifically Magdraft, adequately rated.
Heck yeah. Brennan?
I'm going to go underrated, and just because it just catches big fish. That's just me. Like, I like fishing it. It's great around docks and grass lines. That's mostly where I fish it at. That's where I found that it works the best for me personally. But people need to stop reeling the dang thing so fast, because it blows out when you do that. That's all I see. Like on Swim Bait Universe and Underground, people are like, "Hey, I love the mag draft, but it blows out." I'm like, yeah, because it's made to fish at this speed. And if you fish it too fast, you're fishing it wrong. That's how it works. Like, it just blows out and stuff. But yeah, so I'm going underrated. Yep.
I'm with you on that, Brendan. I'm going to go underrated as well, from the pure fact that I think I have more confidence in a mag draft to get bites than I do a wacky rig at this point. Where it's just like, if I want to get bit or know that something's there, a mag draft is what I'm going to pick up for a wacky rig. A wacky rig for me nowadays has been like, if I can visually see one, that's when I'm going to pull out the wacky rig. But like the mag draft, I don't know. I feel like if I had to put a ratio on it from last year, that I would say the mag draft probably won in regards to fish catches for me last year. But
interesting.
I'm going to say underrated. But this is actually going to come full circle, because next week, just to give you guys a little sneak peek, next week's show for live, Brendan's going to be joining us again for that, because we are going to be doing similar to last week. We did a bracket challenge for best winter baits. We're going to be doing big swim baits next week.
Nice.
So I haven't determined yet if we're going to do 2 brackets or 1 bracket yet. But I'm going to resort here to our experts, aka Brendan, and our other guests lined up. But we're going to have a fun little swim bait bracket next week, so you guys get to look forward to that. Yeah. And I want to address a comment really fast. We have a comment here from Derek saying, smallmouth are stupid fish. There isn't much talent to catch them. Just have to find the right ones.
Okay, that dude's not on the back porch right now. I'm rooming with him.
You're actually with him?
Yeah.
Wait, is he trolling right now?
He 100% is.
Oh, I fell for it big time. I was about to be like, wait a second. The reason why the St. Lawrence River is overrated is because of pressure. And smallmouth are getting smart. But all right, I fell for it. Bravo, Derek.
That's awesome.
Damn it. Dang it. Fell for it. Yeah, no kidding.
He's my travel buddy / roomie for all these opens. We got introduced. Well, I pulled up alongside him at Eufaula, Alabama first tournament, and he said, you should come with us or be a part of our crew, blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, it's history. So we're starting year 2 traveling together now. So great guy, hell of a fisherman. And he just thinks they're stupid because he doesn't really know how to catch them.
Oh, geez, shots fired. Shots fired. I mean, he there is a point there to an extent. I mean,
there's a giant one on the St. Lawrence that has his name. He saw it 2 days in practice and both days of the tournament in the exact same spot, and it did the exact same thing, followed his bait up and just said, nah, you're from South Carolina. I'm not going to bite.
Screw you, pal. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, you say like 3-4 years ago, and Andy, I feel like you'd even agree on the other end in Erie that they were pretty stupid. Like, you could go out and catch them at will, and there's still certainly places you could do that, but pressure is taking a big toll. Big toll on them. Like, I mean, we went out after we went out on Lake Ontario, which supposed, everyone's saying that in St. Lawrence River is supposed to be this mecca. Or it's super easy. You just throw a hook in the water and you catch 25 pounds.
Right.
There was a mega school. I was out there with Josh Douglas one day and Justin Hamner, mega schools, and they would follow your stuff down. They'd sit there and look at it like, oh, I've seen this 43,000 times in the last week. And so it's like, but they won't eat. But you go into certain pockets that aren't as fished as much and shoot, they come rocking up off bottom once your drop shot hits the surface up 40 feet and eat your drop shot like a topwater. So it just, they are stupid. But you can also say that for largemouth and spotted bass when they don't have pressure. Go to any private bass fishery and they're stupid fish. It's because they don't get pressure. So it's to that point. Yeah.
Pressure related.
Kind of more of a reason why it's the St. Lawrence River is overrated as hell now. But okay. We have two more here, but one more we have that is fishing wise that I'm curious your guys' take on is buzzbaits. Overrated or underrated?
I'm going adequately rated. I love buzzbait fishing. I don't do it enough, but it just catches fish. It's actually a legendary bait, right? Like it's one of the best baits of all time for tournament fishing. I'm right where I'm at, adequately rated.
All right, Keith, what you got?
Underrated. In my team tournament days, which I would still fish with Andy Walls any given day of the week, but that dude has put more kicker tournament deciding winning fish in the boat on a buzzbait at any given time of the year. Way underrated, way underutilized. I think a lot of people throw them. A lot of people have them tied on. I've currently got 2 in my boat right now that are tied on. Whether I'm going to throw them down here or not, I don't know, depending on the weather. But definitely an underrated, and I can't really say underutilized, but it's underrated. They catch giants.
Are you
Underrated.
He's already underrated.
Oh, sorry.
You're good. Go ahead. We'll go back around the room because I actually do have a question about buzzbaits. But why underrated, Brendan?
Because they just catch big ones. I live in the South. It's like buzzbait land down here. Lots of wood, lots of grass, cypress trees, all that. It's just big fish catchers.
Okay. I'm in the same boat. I think it's one that's kind of, I want to say it's similar to a spinnerbait in the fact that like when you had Whopper Plopper and different things come out, it kind of lost like the whole shiny factor, if you will, that caught anglers' eyes where they were throwing different topwater baits or they're throwing chatter baits instead, where it's like I think some people lost the way of throwing a buzzbait. That makes any sense. And feel free to argue that, but I think it works everywhere in any condition. And it's like one of the easiest baits ever, especially paired up with like a horny toad or something on the back to skip.
Yep.
Like it's a 4x4 bait in my mind, kind of like a swim jig. But Mike, I'm curious around the horn here, if you guys prefer it skirtless, trailerless. Like if you had to only one configuration of a buzzbait, what is your ideal buzzbait that you're going to throw? Feel free to throw brains in there too.
Oh, this is gonna be weird. I throw the War Eagle buzzbait, usually the white one with a red head, and I think it's a silver blade, and I put a fluke on it, like a big super fluke, and it just kind of helps keep it up a little bit better, and you get a little bit better casting distance. But I'm a big skirt guy.
Big skirt guy? You love wearing skirts?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I am Batman.
You did not.
You need to clip that and put it on your soundboard.
Yeah, you definitely need to clip
100%.
that.
I throw.
Oh, Brendan, good call.
We're getting off this. I throw them skirtless. I don't wear a skirt when I'm throwing a buzzbait. I'm sorry.
You're more of a kilt guy.
I can't even say that because a kilt would be no.
It's so skirt.
We're just free balling when we're
It's a
throwing
manly
it.
skirt, okay?
No, horny toad or a swimmer, or maybe even something a little more subtle. But for me, I need to have some sort of a trailer on there because you get the distance and accuracy and all that stuff with it. Because I tend to throw a little lighter buzzbait.
You gonna throw a brand in there? You could veto. It's okay. I'm trying to push it out of you, but it's all right.
What are we doing?
We'll move on to the next one. I don't want to get punched. What do you got, Brennan?
Yeah, I use some guy makes them down here. He's I'm not sure. I've got his phone number here sitting here if you guys need it, but
yeah, put it up.
I usually go with like yeah. But he custom makes them. Yeah, 3/8 ounce, usually rolling with black or white. I usually like a gold blade. That's just me. I don't know. I just like the gold blades a little bit more. I run it with a skirt on there, and then I usually go with like a zoom double tail split or a split tail grub, like for like spinner baits, like straight 2 little tails. That's usually what I run. I like to have the skirt pulse. That's what I like to do. So I like to have that skirt have a lot of free movement.
I dig it.
So that's me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if some people might get mad at me saying it, but we're here to learn anyways. So I'm gonna say my favorite one that I like to throw, I have a lot of confidence in, is a True South Customs buzzbait. Little bit lesser of known brand, but makes a freaking badass buzzbait. I like mine skirtless as well. Horny toad for sure if possible, because I'm using that like a 4x4 bait into what we call the shit to try to get that like overhanging trees, things like that. That's my favorite. But one thing I did want to mention is Mike M here, this Jig Masters Micro Buzz. If you got like smaller spotted bass lakes, or even if you're like a creek or river guy, that little Micro Buzz is freaking legit. Andrew Hayes at Tackle Talk sent me one. And that is now my favorite little, like, especially when I get the kayak into a creek. That is freaking fun. He catches the living crap out of little creek smallmouth. Definitely try it. It's something completely different, but I'd actually would go, if I knew where it was, I'd go grab it right now to show you guys. But it's tiny. Like it is teeny tiny. But
BFS buzzbait. Got it.
I throw it out like a jerk bait rod. It's fine. Just throw some braid. You're good. Probably not the greatest setup for it, but here we are. Okay. Last one that I had. Oh Lord, I freaking already forgot it. I had it on tip of my tongue for the last.
This is why I'm
What's
the
that?
host, dude. I said, don't you?
I know. See, it's we're rusty here because we're hosting without you. You know, you're back here, and good Lord.
Don't go back to Taylor Swift. Whatever you do.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Taylor Swift. What the frick was it? I literally. This is why I need to write stuff down because I forget stuff so fast.
Welcome to old age, Hot Rod.
Okay.
He's still a baby.
I know he is.
I know one of them we had as backup, so I'll put the backup here because I can remember what it is. Fast food. Overrated or underrated?
Ugh, I'm going overrated. I think it's disgusting, honestly. It's just easy to grab when you're in a rush.
That's it.
Moving on.
So you got
Overrated. I can spend less money at a grocery store, make something better for myself and taste better. And the whole car doesn't reek at the end of the trip getting back home with your bag of greasy ass fast food. So yeah, overrated. I'm out. But I will hit it every once in a while.
Don't we all?
The
Guilty pleasures.
The Buc-ee's gas station, the chopped brisket sandwich. I mean, it's technically homemade, if you will, but it's fast food in the same sense. But damn, it's
Did you
good.
say Buc-ee's?
But anyway, huh?
Did you say Buc-ee's?
I did say Buc-ee's.
That was one I actually had on here, but I didn't know if you guys. I took it off because I wasn't sure if you guys would know Buc-ee's.
I've never had Buc-ee's, so.
Oh, dude,
I know about it, but I've never had it.
It is absolute hell. I don't care which one you go to. Trying to pull in with a trailer and get gas, it's hell. But if you're just a single vehicle, no problem. roll in there, get gas, whatever. People leave their vehicles at the gas pumps. They walk in, they take 2 hours walking around shopping, and then they come back out. But yeah, if you got any kind of trailer behind you, it's hell.
Forget about it.
Yeah, Buc-ee's are really cool. They're great. So there you go. You can call that one your next one if you want. But
Yeah,
Anyway,
I
that's
literally had that on here for this underrated, overrated, but I took it off once we heard Aaron Rodgers needed to be Googled. So that was why I was like, I don't know if this is a good one to have on here still.
There's a big difference between Aaron Rodgers and Buc-ee's. Okay,
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean,
Hey, I don't know anymore.
oh man,
We're just sub hosts, okay? We don't make these shows. This is all Tuma.
See how things
All right.
happen?
oh,
Yeah. Brennan, what do you got for fast food? Overrated, underrated?
I travel a lot for work, so I'm gonna go, underrated.
Underrated?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I know it's horrible for you, but you kind of have no
What you
choice
got?
sometimes.
What's your preference?
Chick-fil-A, of course.
I see. I was just gonna
that's the
ask.
one.
Can we even count Chick-fil-A as fast food these days? Because it's like
It's faster than McDonald's. I mean, that's all I can say.
Yeah,
it
but
is
it's
fast,
because they have a
but, like,
simplified menu, right? Like they have like 3 things, and all they do is change what's on it, and they just pump it out. Just pump it out.
Mm.
But
Have you eaten
Chick-fil-A
at
legitimately just tastes like good food. Like I feel like I have better like chicken sandwiches at Chick-fil-A than I do at most restaurants these days. It's not saying much, but like
It's
When you crave Chick-fil-A, you better get Chick-fil-A because that's all you're gonna think about because it's that good.
it's the Lord's chicken, as they say.
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
I'm
it
gonna
just tastes
say, yeah, it does. It's irresistible.
This Batman comment's pretty good.
This debate will never die, but my top 5 starting at ending at 5 is Andy, Michael Keaton, Christian Bale. Is that Batman actors?
That's great.
That's amazing.
Yes,
Sorry,
That's
Andy, you're at 5.
that's fine. I'm good
Hey,
with
you're a
it.
step above Michael Keaton. I think he was probably the best Batman out there. So
What can I say?
Yeah, that was pretty good. Well done, Sam. Fast food, I'm gonna say adequately rated. I don't think it's overrated because I am somewhat biased because I do love me some Chick-fil-A, as well as
Tim Hortons grilled farmer wrap in the morning.
hurts later, but it is amazing for breakfast in the morning.
wait till you guys get a little older.
Yeah, and no
Oh,
kidding.
I
When
can't
we
even eat
grow up.
McDonald's. I can't eat McDonald's anymore because it just done instantly. I won't even go.
What do you think the
I will
In-N-Out
say-
burger was named for?
Yeah, I've heard that's one you have to have. Like if you're out west, is the In-N-Out. Like you
Oh,
have
I've had
to have
it. We have In-N-Outs here. I think
We do?
No, we have. What do we have? Shake Shacks. Never mind, on the throughway.
In Michigan, they have Get 'em and Goes and Hot and Nows and In-N-Outs. That's a true story.
Yeah, In-N-Out Burger is good. I had it when I was in San Diego. It's good.
It's good.
It's good.
Heath, have you had Bojangles yet in the South?
I have not, but from what I hear on the radio ads, whatever, the chicken's okay. I've never had Popeyes either, so
I would have. I mean, I might piss some people off, but I'm not on the Popeyes train. I had it one time, and it was like one bite in, and I felt like I needed to shower myself in a gallon of water because it was just that
Salty
bad.
and greasy.
Yeah, but yeah, sorry, enough on that talk. But yeah, I'm gonna say adequately rated. I just think it's there when you need it, but it's like nothing glorious. But okay, I remember what my last one was. I don't know why it took me forever to remember. But I was gonna go JDM baits. Let's cap it off there. Do you think JDM baits are overrated or underrated?
Most of them are overrated, but there are some that are vastly underrated.
Would you say there's certain brands that are vastly underrated, whereas there's
I think it's individual baits that are vastly underrated. And then a lot of the reasons why it's overrated is the color schemes they have are made specifically for highly pressured fish in Japan, and they don't translate well to America in the United States. Fisheries that we have, like and people just go nuts over them, and then they never throw them. They just sit in a box and collect dust. So,
Okay. Tuma?
Overrated and just a little bit. I think what Andy was saying, definitely designed for highly pressured lakes in highly pressured areas. Do we have highly pressured lakes here? Absolutely. Do we have highly pressured areas? Sure. But I think majority of them are designed to catch the angler, which translates to phenomenal sales and good for them, good on them. So, I mean, I'm kind of torn between adequately rated and overrated, but I'm going to lean just a smidge towards over.
Okay.
Mhm.
Brendan?
Yeah, I'm going underrated, but you need to know what niche they fit into. Like a lot of the JDM baits, they're like working like super niche situations where you're like, this bait works, it like performs the best in this little situation. So, if we're thinking of it in that sense, I'm going underrated.
So like when you need to make 3 specific casts an entire year, you spend $35 on that one little bait to make those 3 casts, right? Does that work?
If it wins a tournament,
pretty
why
much.
not?
Like I have,
Yeah, I mean,
I found a specific like free rig bait that I really like. That's JDM. I have a speed crankbait that I only throw when I'm speed cranking. That's JDM. Like there's little tiny niche pockets that are severely underrated if you know what baits to buy and what colors to buy.
yeah. Or
You
like,
only knew to buy
Tatsu.
that crankbait because of Seth Fighter.
Shh.
Out of here.
And it took
We
me
talked
a
about it
while.
a bunch on this show. Come on.
And
You talked
it
about it on
took
Lure
me-
Lab.
It took me a while to figure out where I could buy that bait, and then once I found it, I bought like $500 worth of them. So,
And you got 3.
what?
And
No. I found them in the,
The
US.
Blitz.
Yeah, the Blitz.
Yeah,
Yep.
the Blitz. That thing's special.
It is.
That's where I'll say I think JDM baits right now are adequately rated, where I agree on Tuma's side. There's a lot of that just catches the angler. Like all these Vision 110 collectors that don't even fish, but they just have a stockpile of jerk baits. Which, like, if that's your thing, I'm all for that. Like, I was into collecting hockey cards, like another useless thing to do. But it was just, I think there on that spectrum, it's heavily overrated. But I lean overrated on the side of like when Andy talks about the speed cranking. I was literally throwing a rock crawler, a 5XD, multiple different crankbaits, and he smoked my ass on that blitz, that OSP blitz, and it sold me. Like there's legit something to some of these JDM baits that are being made.
The best part about that crankbait is like the no drag resistance when you're burning that thing. Your rod tip doesn't even hardly pull. It's insane.
I wish we could say that's on Omnia, but they're not on Omni yet, so we can't send you guys there. But if there was any baits you wanted on the show,
EXTR, and then what's the other one? It's the DR, Max DR, and then was it I forgot what the big one is. Max DR, I think. I don't know.
See, you don't have to remember names if you just have friends like Andy and Brendan that tell you what to buy and they send you links to them, and then you just add to cart. It's super simple that way. Brendan is my swim bait buying agent. I feel like I should pay him commissions for he sends me deals and things like, "Hey, this is going down Wednesday. Be prepared. Buy these."
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'll let you know all the drops and everything.
Yeah, for real, guys. Definitely subscribe and follow Brendan over here. And then if you ever need somebody to drink a beer with, Tuma's your guy.
Yeah.
Or to co-host a podcast.
I can do that as well.
You can host your podcast.
I'll bring us some beer. Let's do this.
That should be your idea, Tuma. It's rent a host.
Rent a host. All right.
Rent a host. You just fill in where it's needed.
Now, I will say this real fast, and it is on Omnia JDM bait that is vastly underrated is all the Nishini baits, like the jerk baits, the heavy trap that they have, some of the drop shots, even a couple of their hooks, which are Ichikawas, I believe. Like if there's a bait that you want to check out on Omnia, I would check out the Nishinis. They make some really good stuff.
There's a link always down in the description for you guys to go check out on things on Omnia, which I'll also say, and I'll plug here because we do have a link for it down below. This is at Tuma if you don't have it yet.
Uh-oh.
Premium Pro the Omni app is actually legit. Like there are several pros. I think we were around with Wes Logan. We were talking about it and showing the layers.
Do you have the QR
can
code
do.
on here that you can put on the screen for people?
I believe I do. Give me 1 second here, but nonetheless, there is a link to the same thing in the description. Where you like the Premium Pro app. I think it's like, I want to say it's like $30 or something like that for the year. But it's like it gives you access to like you can shop on an app on your phone. It's like using the Amazon app, which is dangerous, by the way. I will say ordering tackle that easy. Don't tell your wife you downloaded it, or your girl. Don't tell your girlfriend Tuma that you downloaded this. Okay,
He's listening, dude.
Well, you're sorry, buddy. Crash and burn. No, it's good. Premium Pro. It's got layers on it. Like so, you have your standard map. And it has wind direction. It's like I got all the weather stuff on it. But what it does is it has a hardness layer. So it shows you like bottom hardness. So you could see which parts of a certain part of the lake that might have harder bottom. So you could find like some of it's accurate, some of it's not. You have to take it with a grain of salt. But there's been times where I'm looking at some of my home lakes and I see these hard spots out in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, son of a, they have my freaking rock piles out there. And it's like, oh crap. So it's like, it's that legit, but there's also like a layer for like grass. So like looking at Florida, you could see clumps of grass. It's actually rather accurate in that standpoint. And then what's coolest part and coming up, like for people that are fishing in the springtime, like when, in the spring, you're looking at where's the warmest water first. There is a layer of water temp. So you can see colors on the lake where the warmest water is.
Base, so they're like, what do you say? They might be 1 to 2 degrees off, but it's really close.
Yeah, you don't look at the degrees. You just look at like you can see what part of the lake and creeks are warmer than the rest. It's actually freaking cool.
That's cool.
But I had from that show that we talk about that with Wes. I had several pros text me asking, "Hey, what's that app again? Can you send me a link to that?" They're give them a couple months. They are going to be the only fishing app that you will need. Like it's pretty crazy what they got going over there. But
nice.
Sorry, long-winded sponsor plug, but for real, like you guys should.
No, it's legit. When I'm graphing for guide trips, I literally have it running next to my Helix unit on my phone, looking all the time. So it helps.
Awesome.
I'm gonna have 2 Helixes and an iPad on the kayak just for. No, just kidding. That's success.
That a boy.
You're not kidding.
Yeah. I would if I could. If I had the guts to put an iPad on the kayak. A little excessive. But
you can have out there with a 22-inch screen out there and an iPad.
All right. Speaking of that,
are we doing it? I knew you were going to.
I genuinely took a link of that NBT giant screen and sent it as a joke to my my dealer because he's a buddy of mine, but he rigs all my kayaks every year. And I'm like, hey, so what do you think about trying to put this on the? It was a joke. There's no way in hell I'm doing that. But I did legitimately ask him, like, hey, do you think it'd be too heavy to put an Apex 13 on? Which is Hummingbird's big, like their top model. The only reason I wanted it, I wish it came in a 10. Because you can screen record on that. And I wanted to screen record live for content's sake. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at like a 13-inch screen. I'm like, kayak? I'm like, I am teetering with the idea. But do I sound like a psycho if I'm going to put that on a kayak?
The 13-inch Apex isn't any heavier than the 12-inch Helix.
Yeah, but look at, so I have a Helix 10 right now, and even that is kind of heavy. And I confirmed it through guys at Humminbird. The Helix 10 is 6 pounds. Apex 13 is 9 pounds. But I was thinking, like, because I have the mount for it, if I just have it dual mounted to reinforce it, it'd be good, right?
Well, it's not like you're getting that kayak up on plane and hitting big rollers or anything.
I don't know, man. Have you seen these under thighs? I can put that thing on plane, man.
The mouse wheel.
What's top speed on that?
I can go a whopping 6.1 with the motor on there.
That's rocking.
Still you feel fast enough. Yeah. You certainly feel fast.
Gone.
Funny.
You should I'll have to send you the reel that I created. You ever seen that scene from Talladega Nights when he's trying to get back into racing after the crash, and he's going like 20 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's the kayak with all the bass boats flying by. That's
Yep.
exactly what it is.
Hey, you
But-
catch a pile of fish out of that kayak. All those guys do. I mean, just get out on the water, have fun. Doesn't matter what you're in. Fish from the bank if you need to or want to, whatever. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Just
Totally
go.
agree.
Yep.
By any means necessary. I mean, look, my Andy teases me all the time about my kayak, but he never once will like crucify me for being in a kayak. We're all here for the same thing.
Absolutely.
No, I
Any
grew
means
up
necessary.
fishing out of a kayak. It's awesome in a canoe. Like, I will never do it because I'm very top heavy. I'll roll over like the Kool-Aid man. So, like,
I've been trying to get Andy in a
Weighted
kayak
keels
for
for
so
those
long.
things?
what was that?
Don't they make weighted keels for those things that
I
offset?
mean, I'm not that big. It's just I have a very poor balance issue. All right, like
Batman needs to get a get
I
his
man
balance
needs to do
down.
calisthenics.
Yeah. God, this is getting out of hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, boys, on that was our underrated, overrated. I hope you guys had fun.
That was a
Hopefully the
good
viewers
time,
had
man.
fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you rolling through that.
Yeah.
We'll do that with us. But we'll go. We're gonna wrap up. Oh, am I?
Oh, I can't see you guys or hear you guys.
Oh, we can hear you.
We can
You're
see
back.
I can hear you.
Okay. You guys are back now. Okay.
Are you good?
Ready freak out.
Oh, that was weird. I think we're good.
I was like, I thought I fixed my Wi-Fi problem, but I guess we're good. But I guess really fast before we let you guys go here, because we're gonna wrap up this show. Is I guess Keith, first and foremost, you got the Open coming up, but is there anything coming up that the people should know or watch for Mr. Keith Tuma?
Oh boy. Let's just keep fingers crossed that I can hold my own a little bit on Lake Okeechobee. Never been there. Ginormous body of water. And then after that, we shoot up to Lake Ouachita in Arkansas. So let's pray for no freezing rain up there, which they just had a couple days ago. Had snow up there on my way down through. We stopped and I actually got 2 days on the water, and it's a fun little puddle. But no, I'm just doing all 9 opens again this year. I ended up 14th overall out of 70 some guys, 76 guys last year that were on the EQs. So yeah, I'm gonna give it another go. Just fishing, man, traveling the country and fishing. So that's about all I got really going on at this point.
If people wanted to support you, how could they do so? Beer money?
Sure, send cash.
Buy a drink?
No, I don't know. Just get into the sport, have fun, show up at a weigh-in if you're in the area. Shoot, the other cool thing, we're going to be on Leech Lake. The Opens are coming to Leech Lake in Walker, Minnesota this year in August. And that's kind of home waters for this kid. So I grew up on that lake, which is a lot of fun. But
not excited at all.
What's that?
So you're not excited at all.
I'm nervous.
I bet.
These guys are going to show me stuff that I had no clue existed out there, and it's going to be interesting. But no, it's going to be it's a fun year. Couple close ones this year, and then they've got them spread out. This first little stint is a lot of ping ponging back and forth because we go from Okeechobee up to Ouachita and then back down to Sandy Cooper. So, yeah, it's going to be a good time. I'm looking forward to it. So
Yeah,
my body hurts. I was out on Toho today, played around a little bit, just trying to get back into the swing of things. And dang, dude, this fishing's a lot of dang work.
Yeah, that ain't no joke. That's for dang sure. But all right. Well, and Brendan, with you, man, same question. What can people look forward to coming up with you and what you got going on?
Nothing much. Just doing streams every Monday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. That's it. Making baits, catching big fish. That's it. Sometimes.
Simple, nice and easy. Yeah.
Yep.
Heck yeah. Well, boys, appreciate you both. This was a heck of a lot of fun, and we'll be talking to you both real soon. And Tuma, we'll be pulling for you at
Appreciate it,
on Okeechobee, man.
I really
Best
do
of luck to you,
appreciate the
man.
support. Thank you, guys.
All right, fellas. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Boom.
Thank you, man.
Andy, another show in the books, and I'd say the first episode we've done of underrated, overrated was a success. And good fellas, obviously, Mr. Tuma, no stranger to the show. Always good getting our host back where he belongs. But and obviously, Mr. Brendan, who is also again going to join next week. On next week's show, talking about we're going to do some bracket challenge for swim baits. We're going to dial that down a little bit here, but just know that Andy and I might enjoy throwing them, but we are not.
Oh, I'm
smart.
not efficient in them at all. I
No,
got
which is
about
why-
8 of them. So
Well, that's why we have the experts that are going to help us at least give us the lists here to build the brackets so that we can make sure we don't sound like a bunch of turds doing this thing. But nonetheless, it's going to be a lot of fun. So look forward to that, I guess, to fill you guys in going forward, being that technically we're only doing one show a week. Obviously it's split in two for our MP3 folk. Is in 2 weeks. It'll be not live. So it'll be a recorded show that's sent out because your boy is finally going on his honeymoon, even though it's been several months since
okay
since
to
he got
take a
married.
break.
So what's that?
I said it's okay to have a break in between the two.
Yeah, it's only like we were engaged for 3 years, but here we go. It's just kind of on our thing. We literally booked our honeymoon the week after we got married. It was like we're kind of the order of events we didn't exactly follow to procedure, but nonetheless, we're going down to Punta Cana. So I will not be here, and I will not be even touching my phone once that week. I will
Enjoy.
have my fat butt parked on a beach with a margarita for the most of the week. So
I'm glad you guys actually split it up. Like one of the most stressful things I think we've done as a married couple was go straight from our wedding. Literally the next day we flew to Maui for 2 weeks, and there's so much that you have to do after you get married, right? Like changing names, etc. And when we got back, we're like, oh crap, we have to do all this crap now. Like it was really tough.
yeah, we're looking forward to it. Obviously, it's been on the calendar ticking away for months now, so it'll be a good time. So that's why we'll still have a show that week. Andy and I are going to grind one out next week, so that you guys have shows to watch first while I'm gone, and we'll make sure to download everybody when we get back. But Andy, great show. Thank you again to Mr. Matty Wong who joined earlier, and then the boys, Mr. Keith Tuma and Brendan Brown, for joining and having some fun with some underrated, overrated. But great show coming up for next week. Appreciate everybody as always. If you guys are listening, please give us a rating and review, whether you're on Spotify, Apple, whichever app you listen to. If you're able, we heavily appreciate it because it goes a long way for us.
Yep.
And I think without further ado, Andy, folks, we'll see ya on the next one.